Oh, that's frosted, right? Are we live? Yes, we are. We are live.
Yes, we are, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is Wednesday. We're getting ready to talk about a bunch of stuff, and of course, in traditional fashion, right before the show, some news breaks. But you know, we'll give it a little bit of a mention. Steam has decided that we will, in fact, not be decking the halls this year.
Curse you, K-Man! Curse you!
What's going on, beautiful people? We are getting ready for another next weekly Daily Wednesday. We're doing a little bit of pre-show, getting everything set up, prepared to talk about the things and the stuffs that we do, because you know what? Pop's got a new desktop manager they're working on. Gnome's got a thing they want to talk about. What if we could have XFCE with Qt turning Silverblue into Ubuntu, a brand new DAW, and baby tuxes?
Yeah.
All coming up.
Hi, Oil Pope. Hi, Daisy. Squee, back to you. Hi, S4D, S4CK.
I've done a retweet. Look at that.
Hi, Mirror.
Sad sack?
Yeah, sad sack. Yep.
So you're a little let down that you're not going to be able to get your Steam Deck? Okay.
A little bit, yeah.
Here's something we got to think about. This is something you got to, we got to have this. It was an estimate. What was the initial estimate for?
December 2021.
All right. So 2 months.
No, it says Q1.
Yep.
Beginning of Q1.
It's they're delaying it until February 2022, which my first reaction was, darn it! I was looking forward to having, you know, a Steam Deck for Christmas, and I'd be okay. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
best Christmas ever. I have a really nice gaming thing that runs Linux. It's a good time to be a Linux gamer, unless your name is Linus Sebastian. So it's like, yeah, very, very happy. It's like, nope. February. I'm still gonna get it, but disappointing.
I don't know. I was talking in the pre-show. Maybe we can spin this as a good thing because Valve says, hey, supply chain issues. Maybe Valve, unlike, you know, video card manufacturers like AMD and NVIDIA, they want to actually have a product they can sell.
Yes.
Yeah, they want to make sure that the software is baked and ready to go.
Outside.
And yeah, that's a very good thing to rub in the faces of AMD. Well, the Radeon Technologies Group, and NVIDIA, and even Intel, because where's that GPU, Intel?
Yeah.
AMD's going to be rolling other things into our brothers and sisters in Australia. They're just laughing. They're like, we're not going to get it for 6 years anyway.
Yeah, I know. The excluding out the dollar dues as usual. Valve, come on. Gaben liked New Zealand, so everything considered, you know, it's not that far away. So just make it available for New Zealand, and Australia will deal with the rest.
I have to assume that there is a very alive and well black market electronics purchasing system in Australia.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think it was Yahtzee that called it the having the nicest beaches tax.
I don't know. I do not know. But yeah, it's a little disappointing.
Hey, Becco Farm. Hi, Love Shock. How are you doing?
Also,
Hello.
if everyone wants to go yoink it over at GOG.com, there's a DRM free copy of SteamWorld Dig.
SteamWorld.
You click a button, receive bacon. That's all there is.
Receive dig.
And Friday, there's still going to be a virtual conference in the Steam Deck.
Yes.
For
If
developers.
Get some time, I might pop in and do a little restreaming.
It's going to be a long one, too.
Yeah.
I was looking at the
Yeah.
schedule. So it's starting at 6 p.m. here and not ending until 1:30 a.m. I was like, eh? But why?
To keep you honest, Pedro. To keep you honest.
Lots of different talks. They're going to go into detail. And no, that's good. This is really great. They're doing this.
Oh, yeah, they have that announcement now that everyone's going like, oh, you delayed it for 2 months. Oh, they're going to get so much hate. Oh.
Well, they can have all the hate they want. It's not like they're doing it on Twitch or YouTube. They're doing it on their like own streamy thing.
Yes?
Yeah.
They I guess they have to justify Steam broadcasting.
I
They
don't.
didn't bring that to Linux for 3 years. So
If I get like clearance to restream it, I'll. There's a couple of things that I'd be interested in.
Cool.
Restreaming and talking over the important bits. It's a very, it's a learned skill to time it just right to figure out what the audience wants to hear about. Then be like, hey man, so what are you doing next week? All right.
Hi, Steve husband. How's my boo doing? He had to get to work really early this morning for a very early meeting.
Hull. That is together. That is good. I'm going to go make some tea, and we're going to hop into it in just a minute because we got kind of a chunky show we got to get through today.
Oh, yeah, we do. Okay. I will go take a break real quick myself
'Tis
and
a
leave Pedro.
pact.
Deep to deep.
What do you think about Pop OS bugging out at the worst possible time? You know, that is, I'm glad it happened. I'm really glad it happened because that's not the first time that we've seen something like that happen on Linux. It's like, oh, that one package that everyone uses. Yeah, it's kind of borked. So don't install. But I'm glad that happened, and someone with the clout of a Linus Sebastian getting it out and on video and a bunch of people watching it. It's like, yes, rub that in. That I'm happy for.
What was the problem?
It was unfortunate.
What was the problem?
It was that the Steam package that Pop is distributing was not accounting for the packages that were updated for Ubuntu. So when you tried to install Steam, it had to basically remove all of the GNOME packages because they were conflicting dependencies because, you know, the API versions and Linux. So yeah, it has happened before, and it probably won't be the last time that it has happened, but I'm glad because now people are paying attention to it, as are the systemd developers.
Whatever. Why don't you just
And
run
I
Debian like a normal person, man? Why you got to run like? Why is everybody trying to run Debian with the body kits on it, with the spoilers and the neon lights under it and stuff? Just run Debian.
User friendly. That was the point, I think. But yeah, no. The thing that actually surprised me the most was Linux Mint and the way that Luke experienced when he did that first boot. And the screens, basically X screen was not entirely sure what to make of his, I think it's a 2000 series NVIDIA GPU, Nouveau. So multiple screens on Nouveau, it went a little bit, I don't know what to do, oh god, ah! And it showed it like that. But yeah, he turned off one of the monitors and lo and behold, it worked.
I don't know.
But yeah, that needs fixing too.
I think like at the end of the day, there's just like some basic things that certain things work certain ways. You know, like that should be little bit of text like right before you get into it. Like, don't use the Nuvo drivers. These are intended.
They do bring up a lot of the like little nicks in the user experience. It's teeny tiny little paper cuts that justifiably need to be fixed. And this is something that I've been trying to do over the past few years is, okay, let's try to use this with as much of the GUI as possible. I usually end up opening the terminal because it's faster, but it's like, if I can't do it through the GUI, I will, and I will learn to do it that way to get through to that. And yeah, a lot of times you find, it's like, it's saying one of the columns, it has two columns with tick boxes. One says open source, the other one says installed. It's like, so do you mean open source and proprietary, or which one is installed? Is that what you mean? No, it's just the teeny tiny little things.
See, I come from the exact opposite experience. All that GUI nonsense is what's confusing people. Because you know what? How many ways is there to do it on command line? One.
Not always.
See, then you got these side cases right here. Like, no, I can find a way to break that. Watch.
That's the thing. If you want to install the NVIDIA drivers, how many ways are there to do that? There's the official repos. There's the adding the PPA if you're on Ubuntu. There's adding the NVIDIA repo. There's adding some other repo if you're on another drive.
See, there's installing the bin. You start by installing NVIDIA drivers. The command's called wget.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The NVIDIA drivers, if you install it through the repos, it's fine. You install it, you reboot, ta-da, you have the proprietary drivers installed. If you have the bin file, you have to kill the current running X server, which in 2021 is stupid, NVIDIA. Seriously, that needs changing immediately. I get why you do it. I absolutely do.
Here's what you do.
But that needs changing.
You're at your desktop, you hit Control-Alt-F1, that'll drop you to TTY. Then you're going to go, if you're on a Debian-based system, a System D-based system, like any system, you're going to go sudo service lightdm, or whatever you're running. I'm running lightdm. Stop. You're done. Then you get a chmod plus x, your run file. Run the run file. Reboot.
Okay. And you need me to point out is like, okay, what the hell's a systemctl? Well, how am I supposed to learn that syntax? How am I supposed to know what the hell a TTY is, or that Control-Alt-F1
I don't need you to know.
One?
I don't need you to know any of that, Pedro. I need you to be able to follow instructions.
But as we've established, certain people don't read what's on screen.
Well, here's the whole thing. Then there's no way to misclick your way out of this adventure. This is old school choose your own adventure. This is like you go to page 87, you're like, but the story's wrong. And I'm like, you went to page 93, but like, you follow the numbers, man. Like, you somehow messed up copy pasta.
It's no matter how
we live in a society, Pedro.
Yes, we do. But no matter how well you explain something to some people, and I find this at work every single day, I will go out of my way to put screenshots exemplifying each step of the way. And we're talking about Windows here. That's GUI all the time. People don't read anything. They get the email, they read the first line. If you're lucky, some of them just read the subject line and immediately reply to you. It's like, you didn't read my email, did you? Okay, then I'm not going to reply to you. Sorry.
No, the command line is something people should pay no attention to for obvious reasons, like things in Microsoft like PowerShell, and also Microsoft bringing in the Windows subsystem for Linux, because the command line's useless. Even Microsoft agrees by making sure that you can get to that command line goodness.
But the big thing about Windows 10 a couple of years ago was, there's a new Windows terminal that gives you both the command line and PowerShell. Yeah, 2020 was weird.
Can't be done. I don't even know, man, what type of wizards use command lines, Pedro. Do you think it's just because people are afraid of typing?
It's because there's a perceived sense of, oh, things are going to be difficult if you do it via the command line. It's going to require a lot of syntax knowledge.
Pedro, what if we could convert the command line to emojis?
There we go.
I'm not entirely sure how that would work. I'd try it.
Yeah, me too.
The curiosity would certainly is like, okay, I gotta try it at least once. But I'm not entirely sure how that would fly.
Pseudo would be the root, the bottom of the tree.
What?
Apt would be the package.
I forget exactly what it was. It was during a live show. Because I was using XFCE4 terminal, and I think somebody's using GNOME terminal. I'm like, whoa, look, emojis are showing. It's got, okay, huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, no, most of the graphical terminal emulators nowadays support emojis, which still surprises me every single time I see one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly, Arthur. When I was a kid, we were taught command line because that's what we had. We had Unix, and we had DOS. And we had Commodore 64, and we actually learned how to use our computers.
Well, I get the argument of, people look at your mobile phone. Like the average person, I crack open ADB and they just zone out. Like, what are you doing? Huh?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. You don't need to know how to do that.
Are you a hacker?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, because I'm doing it over Wi-Fi. But I understand the want and need. That just understand turning a computer into a utility. It's a console. Mm-hmm. It's a basic thing. Mm-hmm. Thing broke.
There's that, and there's those people that very much want to learn how to click and where to click and how to do things without having to drop into what they perceive is something archaic and retrograde.
Yeah. There we go. Cute. Panda.
I was going to say dog, but okay, I'll take panda.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a panda. See, those are the cute little ears. Ice Bear. Yeah, that's a good name. That's a good
That's the other thing, because yes, the command line, if you know the syntax, there's so much more stuff you can do than the GUIs. But the problem with that is the GUI, is the developers of the GUI that don't expose the functionality of the GUI. It's like, oh, you're building a GUI for a CLI tool. Why are you artificially restricting what people can do with it?
Listen, I'm going to say this during the show, but, GUIs are usually perfectly functional right up until a UI designer shows up. Like the second that happens, it's not good times. It isn't. Listen, we figured out, like it or not, your basic UX for a desktop operating system was figured out in the 80s, man. Definitely by the 90s. The idea of the CD or even the Windows 95 start menu, guess what? That works. You can take pretty much anybody and say, okay, this is how this tree branches out. This is how you get stuff. Let's put everything here. Oh no, we need to rethink this.
There's something to be said about having a UI designer or a UX designer, because who was it? Deep to Deep brought up the thing. It's like too many options in a GUI can be overwhelming. Yes, that is people's biggest complaint about KDE is like, oh, you have all the options. Yes, that is why I like it. You get everything exposed via the GUI. I love me some of that.
That's because you like to tinker. Yeah. I mean, that boils down to watching you play video games. I don't use a computer. My days of let's find out all the settings. I'm like, no, those days are gone, son. If I'm sitting down in front of a machine, I'm doing something.
Why aren't you using GNOME then?
Aw, I like your screenshot, Altimore, with the terminal in there. That's great.
Fresh install. Why am I not using
Great job, by the way, on
performance
Saturday, Sandman. That was good. Pedro, it gives Pedro a great break, and you get a good co-host.
And it was
Villain.
already kind of planned that I was supposed to be in Portugal, but that didn't
Yeah.
happen. So it's like, okay, so did you still want to do it? Because I kind of like when you do it and I get to watch Linux Gamecast weekly
He's playing
and
video
actually
games.
enjoy watching the show. So
Yeah, it's different when you're doing it. That's for sure.
I don't know.
Hello, Vicara Ping Veno.
I'll say it over and over and over
Ping.
again. If you're going to walk into Linux, you need to learn how to use the operating system. And
Yes.
the desktop manager and window manager, whatever you're
Absolutely.
using on top of that, is not the operating system. Linux is the kernel.
Yeah.
You need to learn how to interact with the kernel. If not, there are alternatives. There's Windows. There's iOS. There's Chrome OS. There's plenty better done situations. Because you can dress up Linux all day long. You can. You can. You can make it look like anything you want. But the second it breaks, you're just dead in the water if you don't know the underpinnings of that. You're not going to be able to next click your way out of it.
there is one thing about Linux that is still missing from Windows. I know, sacrilege, but the way that Control-Alt-Delete nowadays works in Windows, and there's also another key combination that forces a video driver reset. And if you do Control-Alt-Delete, it forces a video driver reset and a complete screen refresh, which will get rid of whatever application is trying to take over the screen. We need that. We need that codified. Yes, you can do the sysrec R to get the mouse free, or is it E that gets the mouse free? I don't remember which. But one of them gets the mouse free, and that usually lets you click outside of the problematic window and drop into a TTY or open a terminal or do whatever. But we need something like that, something that forces a refresh of the graphics drivers in case they freeze for some reason, and have that back up.
So just restart X?
Yes, but how do you restart X if the thing that's freezing X is also freezing your keyboard input and you can't drop into a TTY?
Okay, so you look to your left or right. Which side do you have your mobile phone with a terminal and emulator installed on?
I mean, I have mobile phone, laptop with SSH, laptop with SSH, laptop with SSH, laptop with SSH.
Within reach, how many devices do I have with SSH on it? That's how you do it.
Yes, SSH.
here's
There's
the
another
beautiful
term
thing.
that a Windows user doesn't know.
Here's the beautiful thing. You're like, but that sounds crazy. Yes, but do you know how much additional stuff you're going to learn on top of that? I'm like, SSH. Yes, let's learn about SSH. Let's learn about remoting into systems.
SSH opens up a lot of doors the moment you actually figure out how it works.
You
It
start
was
dialing it in. You see this
2011,
monitor here?
2012
This
when I learned
monitor
that.
here
Yeah.
is running over
have to
SSH
use
with
them.
X11 forwarding over a fiber optic network. So, I mean, you get to do cool things with SSH that just don't exist on Windows. Control Alt Backspace. Oh man, that was a good time.
That
right
was
there, man.
kill X.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can still enable that. At least KDE, if you go into the global shortcuts, it gives you an option. It's like enable Control Alt Backspace. It's like, oh, hello.
Ooh, yeah.
Back in the X386 days, that was it. Something's wrong. Just
Kill X, sign it again. There we go.
sign in. Look at you, future boy.
Yeah.
We weren't signing in. I mean, you'd log into the terminal before you launched X, but
Yeah.
Start it.
You kill X, you sign in, then you launch X.
when did like login managers show up, like GUI login managers?
GDM has been around since GNOME 2, early
Yeah.
GNOME 2.
Yes, Start X. Well, Start X FCE4, but yeah, same
I used
feel.
to always use one in my old Debian installs.
Just, yeah, StartX is usually just a symlink into whatever. Nowadays. Back in the day, yes, you'd need to pick yours.
Well, I mean, everybody uses the correct one, Light DM.
That is the default for a very good reason.
Yeah.
Unless your name is Ubuntu or Fedora. Or Pop, for that matter. But we'll get to that.
You know what? One thing I like about Light DM is the configuration file for Light DM. Even though it is long, it is human readable. There's nothing in that small novel that you just can't go through and be like, okay, Control F. There it is. All right.
They give you the
lock.
list of everything at the top, and then they give you all the options. Like, okay, now pick what you want to do. It's like, okay, for a text file?
That's what I'm saying. Yes, it's verbose. You're like, yes, I want you to play the Nutcracker Suite in E major in reverse on
Daisy,
Tuesdays. Yeah, all right. But
That's the one I used for years.
I downloaded the KDE ISO and the regular ISO. I haven't tried it yet. Nobara Linux. The glorious egg roll spin of Fedora.
oh, why would you want to do that to yourself?
I think XDM has been around the longest because
Curiosity, mostly?
it was based off the Unix.
I mean, Fedora is
I think that was the very first one I used in Linux.
such a kitty cat these days, man. Like, I'm just saying, Fedora's like a tame little beast that you can just install and use as a desktop these days. And it was that way 5 years ago. These days, I mean, just install it and go. Yeah,
I
but-
agree.
Even Arch is doing easy mode Arch now.
yeah.
What's the point of Manjaro then? Well, I guess they only track the stable packages. It's like it's a slower
Sandman.
rolling release. Fine.
All right. Let me go make some tea and we'll get on with the show.
Yes. But yeah, that's the other thing. Linus went eventually with Manjaro KDE, which, okay, fair enough. As far as distros go, if Pop! OS is going to blow up like that, yeah, might as well. But as far as distros that implement KDE, it's not the best.
Yeah.
Especially for someone who wants to avoid the command line. No.
Well, he would
like
have been
nothing
better
against
off with
Manjaro,
Fedora
but
KDE, but
Yeah, if you nothing against Manjaro, perfectly suitable distro. I use it on the Pinebook Pro with XFC
Love
like a sane
Manjaro.
person.
Yeah.
But the but if you want to avoid the command line because gamers don't use the command line,
also, I think he wanted to use it because it's the Steam Deck base. So that's probably why. Art.
perfectly legitimate. Valve said, like,
Yeah.
yes, it's Arch based and it uses KDE. So, okay. What's the closest we can get to that? Manjaro? Yeah, let's try that. Fair.
Yeah.
But if you want to avoid the command line, you go with something that has proper support. He didn't want to use Fedora because it's a meme Linux. He didn't want to use
He didn't understand it.
Ubuntu because
up to date.
reasons. I don't know.
Is Cheese Bacon in the house? I haven't seen Cheesy in a while. Hi, Cheesy. Big hugs. Oh, there you are. I see you. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, the video you guys did at System 76. Cool.
It was a valiant first effort.
Yeah.
That is
It
as
was really
nice as I can
fun
be about it.
to watch.
Oh no, nothing against the content. It's just valiant first effort. It can only get better from there.
Cheesy. It's so exciting having you part of System 76. That's awesome. And you're with our friends, Linux Gnaroo.
No all caps. The bot doesn't like all caps.
Yep. Yep, Linux Gnaroo. You know who that is.
Wait, y'all don't know each other's online handles?
Yeah. What?
I don't know if it's the favorite show, but there's certainly a lot of them around. Hello, Vakara.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's going to be a lot of unpacking of the Linux challenge from Linus Tech Tips. So I look forward to episode 2 and the ones after that. The only thing that I took away from episode 1 was I want one of those Go XLRs. The one that Linus was complaining that he wasn't getting any audio out of, despite it clearly working because he was just getting the monitor of his input on the output.
Yeah.
That was it. So I want one of them because clearly they work on Linux and they look so shiny. I want to put my hands on it. It's like, yes.
Yeah, it was so funny that Luke was having issues with multi-monitor because the last few years
With Nuvo.
Yeah, I've had several multi-monitor. I have several multi-monitor systems and never had an issue, even with Nuvo from a live flash. So, aw, he got stuck with it. Maybe it's a Linux Mint issue.
Hello, Jusker Hawk.
One of the things was he had a 20 series card, and I bought a 20 series card.
Yeah.
And I remember that I had to, basically, what was it? Load a...
No mode set?
No. I had to remote in to Fedora.
Oh.
From another machine in order to get it to install.
Hello, JS Carhawk. And hello also to Vakara. I think I said hello to you earlier, but I can't remember.
But being able to set up a system from, everybody has a, Visa type incurses set up these days, I'm sure.
Most of the distros do.
Yeah.
In fact, that's the default for Intel's Clear Linux. That's just Ncurse's terminal, or it used to be. I haven't actually installed it in a while, so maybe that's changed. But it was just an Ncurse's installer. You went through everything. It's like, there, done. Reboot. Cool.
I mean, listen, I thoroughly enjoy having a GUI with mouse. That's nice, and having networking and all that set up. But it's good times. That used to not be the case. Not at all. Well, one of the things one thing I always loved about Solaris, because I was usually stuck doing a Solaris install by myself, and every now and then I'd have network access. One thing with Solaris is you could set up Ethernet, usually fiber, but get that configured while it was doing the install, because Solaris had a web browser to let you play around while it was installing.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. There were a few other distros that did that too.
At the time before smartphones, that was real nice.
That was really nice. Most of the places I was in, you couldn't. Well, smartphones didn't really exist, but couldn't have anything with camera phones. But all right, hey, let's do a show, everyone. I am trying to get the tea. What kind of tea? There's only one kind of tea.
Generic store brand tea.
Exactly. But not the cheap generic. That stuff's nasty, man. Also, Tetley, your British blend sucks. I don't know what you were going for on that, but that was a swing and a miss, man.
Are they trying to go for the generic PG tips that they have here, which are
PG tips are
terrible?
PG tips are serviceable. I'll get those every now and then. I get like my list of like, oh, the stuff I normally buy is out. So I'll go different ways. Just a standard black tea. And that's all I care about. As long as it's warm and it's not offensive to taste. But yeah, their British blend is, it's like, wow, that's earthy. That's not something I look for in
Yes, that's what PG tips taste like to me. It's I feel like I'm drinking dirt.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, it must have new enhanced dirt flavor.
That's why I like even the cheap Earl Grey that Tesco sells is miles better than PG tips and cheaper.
All right, let's see. Good 3 shot. All right. So, 2, 3 looks like. Bounce that. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got snuffles.
Yes. It is getting to be that time of year.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a hoodie.
I'm not, because it's it's in the fluctuation time of the year right now, kids. Where it might be 9, but it might be 23.
Yeah, I've been sniffly the last few days. I think there's just more pollen in the air.
Speaking of screenshot.
Oh, California, right.
Yeah. The weather's the same, so maybe a little cooler, but not that much different. But we do have changes, we do have small seasonal changes, and some of the leaves do turn, and some of the trees, despite
what do they turn into?
Very small changes.
It's
those
just small changes. Yeah. What I noticed the most because the changes are, slight in Southern California, what I notice is the position of the moon, the changes. I can always tell when I'm in a fall, when I'm in winter, when I'm in summer, because we get sun mostly year round. So you get to learn where the sun is. Oh, okay, this is a autumn sun, winter moon. You can tell.
The sun, what's that? I haven't seen that in like 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Right. If you need new stuff and you're running Debian, just run Debian testing. Like that, Debian testing's ahead of whatever the Ubuntu's and everybody else is pushing out. Run Debian unstable if you effectively want to run Arch. I mean, welcome to Debian, kids.
If you want to use the alpha version of the next Ubuntu version, run Debian unstable.
Well, I mean, you can pull it up on DistroWatch, like what's tracking what. Debian unstable, bleeding edge, man. But then again, you're dealing with Debian though, so it's not as crashy. I run Debian stable on everything in here, except for the Aftershow box. That's still on Debian 10. Because why not? All right. Let me get this thing lined up. I'm gonna pull that. Oh, and our Jitsi server. I'm running Debian 10 on that. Why? Because it was a one-click image. I'm like, done.
Oh, that's an option. Okay.
I mean, like, hey, just click that and like, that's it. And I'm like, yeah, it's got the web image, everything, SSH into it. That's all I need. All right, I'll set up the lamp stack. You don't call it's not a lamp stack anymore. What do you call it these days? Because I'm not using Apache.
Oh, yeah.
No, Nginx. No. Wait.
I have to assume when I say lamp
Nginx
stack, everybody knows what I mean. Yeah, it's like a web server and other bits.
Yeah.
Web server with PHP.
Yeah. Deploy your own Jitsi instance, kids. It's not difficult. All right, let's get recording. And
Oh, it's lamp with an E.
Yeah, limp. Say limp.
And we don't know why. Why is it? I don't know. It was lost to the ages.
We don't know what the safe word is anymore.
For my brothers and sisters watching DBC Abridged, that's all I was referencing. All right. Let's do it in 3. Hey, welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays where we sit back, relax, talk about some of the fun things that we found going on in the world of Linux, open source, anything else that we just happen to find interesting. I am Vin Stone. That is Joe Bryant. And over there is Pedro Mateus and everyone watching us live on Twitch. Hi. How's it going? So nothing at all has happened since last week. Nothing. Not a thing.
The internet isn't talking about anything
Tons
right
of
now.
stuff.
The Linux ecosystem has not turned into a soap opera.
Nope.
Not a bit. Speaking of soap operas, Jill, you noticed something.
Yes.
You've been counting.
So, yes, I have. So, OMG, it is our 300th episode of Linux Weekly Daily Wednesday. Woohoo!
Are you saying this?
Congratulations.
Sparta!
Yes. And I can't believe I've been here since episode 111 in April of 2018. Can you believe that? Wow. Because of
I
all our
always,
wonderful patrons.
Pedro will pop up every now and then. He's like, yes, we've been doing this for like 9 years. And something like, and I'm the one making these. And like, I don't know. I guess if you say so, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
I have no
It's
idea.
usually the numbers that in my head go, wait a second, you can divide that by 9. Oh, it's been that long. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, ho, ho, ho. Merry 300, everyone.
Yes.
Pedro, you okay, first of all, what are you doing playing around with FireWire audio devices in 2021, bro?
I'm addicted to this particular Apoogie duet. It sounds
Typical
very
Linux
nice.
user.
Using Mac devices that weren't even supposed to work, but they do, and they sound really nice. But yes, that has been my sound card interfacey type of situation for a few months now. And yesterday, before the stream, I was basically fighting my system to figure out why it wasn't working. Why isn't even Pulse Audio loading at all? Or why isn't ALSA even seeing the Apoogie?
Have you not read
It turns
Twitter?
out,
Audio does not work on Linux, man.
yes, I was basically getting the default experience, but I like to think myself, better than that. But yeah, no, as it turns out, I had the hardware enablement stack kernel 513. That was the latest one that's available for 2004, which I'm running KDE on, which is based on 2004. So that was the kernel I was running, and that was the thing that was causing the issues. So for the stream, I actually used the Apoogie 1 because that's just USB and that worked just fine. The FireWire device, I didn't get it working until I basically booted back into 511, and it immediately came up. It's like, oh, okay. So sudo apt remove star 5.13 star. Gone.
Did you do it on the running system?
I had already rebooted to a previous.
I don't. I will straight up uninstall the running kernel and reboot.
I don't think Ubuntu lets you do that. I think if you try to install the current running one, it will automatically reinstall the unsigned version of that kernel.
Yeah, see, I live over in the real world with Debian.
Yes.
Don't have that problem. Like, go YOLO. And it is a very reliable YOLO. So I don't feel, and I do this when I'm testing out compiling kernel 515 RC release candidates and testing out some of the stuff also for FireWire and other things. But I've never had a problem with it. I don't suggest doing it at home. And if it blows up, I will just laugh at you. But hey, that Linus kid.
Stay away from 513 if you have FireWire anything, at least on Ubuntu. Maybe other distros do something different, but here is borked.
That Linus kid.
Pedro.
All right, you guys get it out of your system. I'll see if I can get started.
No.
We got a third salvo coming in. Come on, let's make it awkward.
Oh, at least he's
It
running
already
Arch.
is.
So yes, that Linus kid, the squeaky one, not this one. He finally released the video that a lot of people have been waiting for. I watched it yesterday, and that's not entirely true. I flipped through it yesterday. Like I wasn't terribly interested.
Yeah.
But you kind of got to watch it for research so we can talk about it on the show. And the one thing I saw like jumping around through the video, he kept talking about average users. Like, oh, an average gamer or an average computer user wouldn't use a command line or wouldn't. And the only thing I was thinking during that was, I've never met an average person who runs Linux. And I'm not patting you on the head. I'm not giving you false praise when I say that, because I think we've all, met somebody. Like, you think about it like this. Average people who install Linux, they never stick around. They just don't. And what I'm saying there, I'm not saying that we're above average. No, I'm not saying we're above average. Quite the opposite. What I'm saying is like, we're kind of the misfits. We're the people who get bored with something like iOS.
Oh, misfits. Okay, that
We
is
like
a
to
better
tinker.
term than the one I had in my head.
The tinkerers,
We like
the
to
people who want to
tinker,
play around. You're looking
curious.
at Windows and like, this is boring. There's got to be more stuff to
Yeah.
do. There's got to be more to learn. I want to go deeper, and here we are. But yeah, I mean, we have people who are like, I think more common term would be like Linux curious. Somebody who's like, maybe I want to play around with Linux. Like, then they're going to run in with something. You see these people, you get them in your life. Somebody who just wrecks their desktop every other week, and they're like, oh, nope, nuke it from orbit. Let's start over. I'm like, are you going to learn anything from that? Nuke it from orbit, I said, and reinstall. That's how I fix things. Hi, Windows. I learned it from watching you. And it's quite unfortunate. But, that's pretty decent. And yeah, I will always say we are the misfits. We're the curious ones. We are the tinkerers. And
Yes.
that's that. I don't say that from a place of ego, elitism, or toxicity. I say that from 30 years of personal experience, on this side. I just want to just say that and keep that mindset when you're watching an entertainment technology channel and they're talking about
Yes.
average users. Like,
Yeah.
stay average, my friends.
Yeah.
LGC cares.
Windows needs users. Mac needs users. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can-
And we are the Linux nerds.
We're not. I don't want to go stepping on average toes, man.
I mean, we're the bullheaded
Pedro
people who
Mateus,
refuse
have
to
you-
look facts in the face.
Have you not?
And
I
keep clinging on to-
can't live with this, Pedro. I can't have someone being averagely upset with me. I mean,
We
I
did
could.
manage to irk quite a large segment of the Linux population with the Saturday podcast.
Well, this is easy. I mean, I don't know. We're just going to watch and see how this plays out because, hey, we got opinions and we got thoughts on it. And no, don't let anybody say you can't criticize anything. I mean, this is a commercial venture that Linus is doing. So, yes, it's wide open to criticism. And, yeah.
He's making money off it. He deserves the criticism.
The whole idea that this series was like, oh, we just sporadically decided to do this on a show out of it. No, don't buy that. Then if you believe that, you believe reality TV is not scripted. So that's all I'll say about that. Hey, another thing I've been playing around with is last week I got the Raspberry Pi 02W. Picked that up.
Nice.
And I finally decided to start playing around with it. This is my little proto Pi. That is the Pi 0W2 powering my Stream Deck. I got that set up and it's wirelessly, I didn't get the rest of it in the picture, but communicating with this box here, which is my little thread ripping system that is used for streaming over the Wi-Fi, like self-contained, because I'm prototyping. I got an idea. I got plans, but I wanted to see if I could get my BitFocus companion web server and all that set up with Wi-Fi's, and that little quad core had enough juice to do it, and it looks, it's positive. Some things are going to have to be done for reliability and it not melting, but there's promise there. Stay tuned. It might also involve me having to break down and upgrade from my original MakerBot. It's made out of wood. But it turns out that apparently when I wasn't paying attention for the last decade, you can get like for $200, you can get a pretty decent little 3D open source printer these days. I'm like, all right, maybe I'll go pick one of those up and burn some filament. All right. Let's get into the actual news though, because pop goes the DM this week. This
is very exciting news. So System 76 is working on its own desktop manager, and it is not GNOME shell-based, but will be primarily based on the new code base of hotness, Rust. Yes, this is awesome. So this is, really wonderful news, and honestly, something I've been speculating for quite some time. They've been making GNOME their own with their Cosmic Desktop, which takes the core GNOME user interface and customizes it with extensions to better meet the needs of their target audience of creators, developers, and nerds like us. So at some point, I knew that the changes they wanted to make with the GNOME desktop were not going to be enough, especially since they were relying on GNOME extensions to do so. And as we here on LWW have talked about many times, having to use extensions to improve your desktop is really not optimal.
What? No, I'm on XFCE.
No.
Yeah.
No plugins. So, imagine using XFCE with no plugins.
Yeah, there you go. So, and I think building their new desktop in Rust is honestly a really great choice, especially since the future of the Linux kernel will have some rusty elements. So that's definitely a thing, and this is a really awesome change for System 76. It's going to be very positive.
I'm thinking about it and I'm looking at it. My first thought, like a lot of you at home, you're sitting there going, y'all remember Mir?
Yeah.
Remember Unity? The desktop environment?
Before, and it will all happen again. Yeah, Unity. That was a thing, man. You know what? I was never really a fan of Unity, but I really wanted it to succeed. I did on this show, even when it was still being on life support. I'm like, this needs to happen. We need this. Why? Because I probably think about it a little bit differently than a lot of you at home. I really do. Because I've been trying to teach people how to do the Linux thing for well over a decade. And it's always from the command line. And that is a very common complaint. We were talking about that in the pre-show. If you missed out for Patreon, go back and listen to it. And having the one target desktop's always been kind of a dream. The desktop hardware, doing that for System 76, right? Having we'll start here and you can work backwards from there. Having that, not only is that going to simplify the support for System 76, I mean, to some degree, because the average person's not going to change their desktop. They're going to get it and they're like, okay, I'll live with this. This is my life now. And being able to just troubleshoot. But it would also give me a target to make guides. It would be very easy to go boom, boom, boom. I mean, like right now, people would argue, hey, why don't you just do a GNOME? And I was like, that would require me running GNOME. No, I'll just stick with a command line because it's universal all the way across. But do we need another desktop manager? Fragmentation, Pedro. I can't stand it because I don't care because I can still run whatever I want.
It's not fragmentation, it's experimentation. There is a difference.
Yeah, that's the whole argument
behind the whole argument behind fragmentation. Yes, there is there's many things that do one thing. Therefore, it's fragmented. I mean, yes, if you just want to look at the facts, yes. Although there are many things, and if one of them is called GNOME and the other one's called KDE and the other one's called XFCE, these are all very, very different. Yes, they all do the same thing. They all give you a desktop to work for. But they are very, very different. It's not fragmentation, it's choice. You don't like choice? Windows works. Wait, is Windows still too open for you? Mac OS. There.
I don't know what type of technical wizard you are. I use Chrome OS.
Chrome OS, even better. Yeah. Linux based and no choice whatsoever. That's it. That's what you get.
No, but I do want to hit you up. We'll have this conversation real quick, Pedro, because again, from my perspective, like, I want to be able to help people out getting things, especially multimedia production under Linux. And I say, okay, this is how you do that. And I'm like, it doesn't work this way under KDE. My response is not my problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a great response.
Oh, no, it isn't, but it is a valid response because if you're providing someone with help you can only do it from your perspective. If that someone is insisting on doing something using a tool that you don't necessarily like.
Okay, here's another problem I have though. Like we could get that because Linus, not this one, the squeaky one.
Not that
Linus,
one.
yeah, said that, if it's an average user, they can't use the command line, especially average gamers. Completely out of the option. They don't have the correct amount of folds of gray matter to use command lines.
I'd say Linus has a very poor understanding of the average user, or maybe a little too good of an understanding of the average user by what he displayed on screen.
Well, no, but hang on. Maybe he's talking about his average viewer.
Yeah.
Okay, if it is his view and his actual legitimate view, and he's not just doing that for the clicks, but
yeah. He has lots of Linux users in his, watching his streams.
And that's
yeah,
the thing.
but
If
we're
he
watching
genuinely was doing this,
we're like, oh, what nonsense am I going to be dealing with as a result of this? And I don't say that
if he
lightly.
genuinely wanted that,
No.
he could have asked Anthony because Anthony knows Linux, or he could have asked Wendell because, collaboration between YouTubers. Wendell is also pretty big on Linux. They could have even, I don't know, maybe watched a certain podcast that has Linux and gaming in the name.
No.
But yeah, going back to System 76, which is relevant because that's the first distro that Linus tried, not that one. The new desktop environment, I like it. Well, I don't know if I like it, but I am certainly curious because it's a desktop environment built in Rust. I am genuinely curious. We'll see whether or not I actually like it after I give it a shot.
Hey,
but
at least it's Rust. We'll have the guarantee that it'll be slower.
Yes.
Aww.
I mean, that's kind of unavoidable. At least more latent.
Well, there already are some other Rust desktops out there that people have been experimenting with. And they work pretty well.
Okay, but are we going to get like WM Fluxbox, OpenBox style of situation like the current ones that exist? Or are we going to get something to, I don't know, even maybe rival XFCE or
More
LXD?
heavyweight,
Some of the lighter weight ones, absolutely. Or maybe go full on GNOME or KDE and actually encompass the entire framework.
Yeah.
That I'm curious. That's
going to be cool.
I think we might
Very
get
true,
an answer
Pedro.
to that. Best of luck to him. It'll be interesting to see what happens. This is still very, very early days too. This is just like, hey,
this was literally enough
We're thinking about
comment on Reddit.
Yeah.
That spawned speculation about.
Now, that is not the only bit of System 76 we have this week, because this had to pop up last night. They're like, you know what? It's been a couple of weeks since internet drama showed up.
And this one has been ongoing for a while. Yes, the slap fight between GNOME and System 76 continues. On this latest iteration, we have, what's his name? Chris Davis, actually typing out a very lengthy article describing in what way System 76 was a big meanie and they want to do things their own way and not the way that
now, I do
GNOME
want to go ahead
wants
and
to
throw
do
in,
him.
if you're new to the show, Pedro's anti-GNOME as hard as you can get.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I
Just
am.
full disclaimer.
I very much am. And as someone who is very anti-GNOME, reading this article, it had a very whiny overtone to it. And, you know, people in glass houses, I shouldn't be the one necessarily to be talking about whining, but, you know, it's the complaint here is so ironic that I'm almost sure that Chris is very aware of it because it's Gnome complaining that someone else is doing things the way that they want to do when Gnome are the prime example that I keep going back to for a project in the Linux space that keeps doing things the way that they want to do without listening to anyone. Remember what happened when you moved from Gnome 2 to Gnome 3? Remember what happened when you moved the standard... When you moved the standard from how it was done in GNOME 3 to GNOME 4 or 40 or whatever you call it nowadays. Do you remember that?
For the sake of newsworthiness, what are some of the complaints being leveraged, Pedro?
The complaints are I think it kicked off with the LVFS, the way that System 76 at first didn't want to use LVFS because they were concerned about some of the information that was being collected. And then they eventually just started using LVFS and FWPD, the same thing. And the complaint there was that during that time that they didn't want to use it, they were posting mean things on social media and spreading misinformation. In fact, misinformation is a word that I didn't actually look it up, but it appears at least 5 or 6 times in this particular article. So, and it's always leveraged at System 76.
Come on, my favorite slap fight is over GTK. I'm just joking. I don't really care about that. So I'm going to say this. When you do sit back and suck out all the unneeded drama from the situation, you basically get 2 projects that want to do things their own way. Hashtag my way is best way. We've all been there, myself included, because I rather enjoy doing things my way. But that also forces me to think, it'd be a wee bit silly of me to chastise others and other projects that are doing the same thing that we all naturally do in the first place. I mean, this is just reality of it. Now,
irony.
That's the whole thing, man. Sometimes it's not pretty, but what we're seeing right now is open source working as intended. It is, because you get that option. You know what? Because you absolutely can go make your own lunar lander. You can. With, working on the existing infrastructure, what's already there. Like, hey, you know what? We're not going to see eye to eye on this, so let's go do our own thing. And that's good. That's a bonus. And it is very human of us to let's pick a team. But
we are a tribal bunch. Yeah. Always have been.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's just the way average non-XFCE users think.
Yes, no, over here in the KDE master race land, that sounds wrong.
Oh yeah, I bet you have to open more terminals.
Wait a second, I need to open the terminal to make sure that KWin hasn't sprung another memory leak.
You know what?
That needs fixing.
Mine's so
that's
advanced.
Why I got to stick with Window Maker. I'm sorry.
Wayland. I have Wayland anti-Wayland defense measures built in.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Jill, any opinions on this one?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think Cheese Bacon said it correct. In chat that we're human and. Having Linux drama is, part of it. But I really do feel that this is the beauty of open source is, System 76 is taking the GNOME desktop and making it suit their needs and making it better for their needs. And that's the beauty of open source.
There you go.
All right. Now, going back to the Wayland that Van dropped there, but we hadn't given Jill the chance to say anything just yet. So yeah, it's here. It's actually here. Version 21.1.3 is available. It's no longer in release candidate availability. It is actually released. There were no changes since the last release candidate. It was, it's here. You can get if you have an NVIDIA card and you're running the 495 drivers, you can go and launch X Wayland things and go, that works.
Now I'm going to save everybody a lot of trouble if you got the latest NVIDIA drivers and you got the latest version of X Wayland, which you probably don't.
Yeah.
No, because what we're trying to communicate, if you want to, and if you're capable, go ahead and grab it. There's nothing standing in the way other than getting the latest updated packages to go play with Wayland on NVIDIA. All the bits are there, but you got to be brave if you want to play that home game. I'm very happy. I'm content. I opened Sway, opened a terminal inside of that. And I'm like, man, that was an awesome experience. Let's get back to this X thing.
Yeah, no, or you wait for your distro package maintainers to eventually get around to it, which is what most people are going to do. And that's fine.
Yeah.
I like that the option's there. Probably the easiest way, it'll probably get rolled back into, because you're going to be playing with Pipewire too, if you're going to be playing with Wayland, I assume, unless you're just 100%
You don't
desktop.
need to, but you should.
Yeah.
You really should. Pipewire is nice.
Go get some of the latest of that Fedora action for an out-of-the-box experience. I think it's probably the best way to do it. Now, I've always wondered if there was this bizarro moon universe where XFCE was based on Qt instead of GTK.
Oh. Well, you kind of have something, a desktop that's similar to that, and it's called LXQT. So LXQT 1.0.0, the lightweight Qt5 desktop manager, has been recently released with some very important changes and updates. And this is awesome that it is at the 1.0.0 release. And what's really cool is LXQT, this new version depends on the Qt 5.15 long-term support release, the LTS release, which was just released in May of 2020. And there are so many wonderful updates and upgrades to this version, including the LXQT panel is now even more customizable with the inclusion of a new plugin called Custom Command. And the file manager now has an option in the LXQT file dialog for showing hidden files. I've actually been waiting for this functionality for a very long time in LXQT.
What do you got to worry about?
Always
Like
missing
hiding
that.
hidden files. Jill, just close your eyes, man. Come on. Just
Oh. Well, it's nice to have that upgrade to PC Man FMQT. But yes,
I don't know, Pedro.
I am half blind, so it's kind of true. So
When I think about LXQT, we got this 1.0 release, and do you want to play with it? Because I've kind of had the same experience that you've had every time I've been curious. I'm popping. I'm like, nah.
I really like the idea behind it. I do. And just a quick mention, big thank you to the Raiders that we currently have going on. We're recording this live, so welcome everyone.
Hi. Who rated us?
It showed up earlier. I don't remember who it was. Let me see if I can scroll right quick and do the thing. Where is it? It was
as Pedro is trying to find Raiders, I can tell you a little bit more about LXQT 1.0.0. You can now also recursively customize folders in the file manager. And what's also awesome is, like other desktop environments, there is a new Do Not Disturb mode for muting and unmuting desktop notifications. Something we've all needed.
Thank you, Jill. It was the Primagen. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. That was kind of crazy. But
awesome.
Yes, my experience with LXQT has been very much, that's something really nice. I like lightweight, tiny, Qt based. Absolutely. Let's go. And something's broken. Either the network manager just refuses to spawn, or the battery, because I like laptops, battery power settings just straight up don't apply. They ignore them entirely, which forces you to then install, say, the XFCE power manager, or use any of the other ones that are available. But there's always something. There's always something that's so massively broken that I just go, you know what? I'm out. It's okay.
Yeah.
Maybe the 1.0 will fix it, because I haven't actually tried it. So maybe.
Well, let's talk about something that is not massively broken. It's quite an interesting experiment, and this very much got my attention. This
very
did.
Cool.
Because I'm a dangerous person to have in your house, unsupervised. And this next thing could absolutely be weaponized just a little bit. Pedro, you've heard of Silverblue before, right?
Yes, we even discussed it tangentially last week.
Joel, what do you think of Silverblue?
I think it's amazing. Yeah,
Amazing.
to have to have a Fedora with containers. It's pretty awesome.
I think it would be a
Lots
neat
of
thing
VMs.
to transmogrify into Ubuntu. And now we have a way to do it. This is kind of fun. This is kind of brilliant because an Ubuntu desktop for Fedora Silverblue is absolutely a thing. Now, first off, you're going to be dealing with the type of person who has the adventurous spirit to play with Silverblue, which I do not. Most certainly do not. But this is going to get you kind of set up with what you would expect from a Ubuntu rollup. What is that, GNOME these days?
Yes.
Pedro, you run Ubuntu, so.
No, I run KDE Neon, which is very clearly
he's
not
running a
running GNOME
spin.
as the name would imply.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, if this is uBlue is just trying to, okay, so the core for Silverblue is a OS tree immutable core. So you can't really change a lot of the background stuff. It's designed to be that way. It's something that you put on like a system that you don't want the people that are going to be using that system to mess with the internals. That's fine. That's absolutely great. But maybe you like the idea of it a little bit and you kind of want to use something that you know for a fact you can't really mess around without going to great lengths. So maybe you just want to do that. And if you prefer the way that Ubuntu does it with the dock down the side and the panel at the top, and that's about it. That's pretty much all it does. That right now, anyway.
I think one of the big things about this is it's reversible, so it's kind of a guilt-free way to mess with your coworkers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you
it
can
makes
just
sense
SSH
actually.
it, revert it, done.
It makes sense for those that are comfortable with the panel on the left side, like you have in Ubuntu on GNOME. It makes sense that they might like the skin, especially since they're using a very progressive distro called Fedora. So it makes them feel more comfortable.
Silverblue on top of that. Then again, you gotta.
Yeah.
I'm talking about messing with the type of people that are running Silverblue. Probably not a good idea in the first place. So just.
Oh, yeah. True. Yeah. Sysadmins and
I mean, if you're
whatnot.
willingly running it and you went out of your way to do it for yourself, yeah, no.
No. I mean,
Probably
this is something I would play around with this just to see how it worked. Like, all right. Because again, I mean, you can revert it very easily. It's not a,
Yeah.
it's not a permanent thing. Now, this is not internet drama. This is just the internet. Oh my God, pink for a split second, wasn't it?
It's every now and then we get the one vulnerability on Linux that sends the internet into a flurry. I mean, okay, shell shock, pretty bad. Heartbleed, not great. But everything outside of those two, pretty much fear, uncertainty, and doubt all the way down. This one is Tipsy, the kernel module that allows you to create and manage basically a network cluster. Yes. The Tipsy module is probably installed on your distro right now. It comes with most of them by default. But if you run lsmod pipe grep tipc, that's TIPC, it probably isn't loaded because you're not running a cluster from your desktop machine. So you're fine. And this was discovered and patched quickly enough that apparently nothing else came out of it. So yeah. The internet is basically running rampant if you're on Twitter or you're anywhere that you have any kind of Linux news being delivered to you, which also the Google News feed on my phone. It's like, oh, the new remote code execution flaw in Linux. It lets people destroy
Quit
your
bragging.
systems.
My Google News feed's trying to sell me ham.
Oh, no, that's ZDNet for you.
So this is just panic about nothing, right?
Yeah.
All right. But what if
It was a bad flaw. It was a pretty bad flaw. And if you
Absolutely,
have a network cluster and you're using the Tipsy module to do it, you should have patched this already, like last week. But yeah, if you're not, it's okay. It's fine.
So, yeah, I guess that's good news. I don't think anybody was attacked with it with this vulnerability, were they?
Yeah, no, they said they didn't find it in the wild, which was really great because it could have been very bad.
This next bit is kind of puzzling because according to the internet, audio doesn't work on Linux. By the way, all this Linux. But we got a new DAW. That's right. It's not the Fargate. It's the Stargate. Can't make this up. It's kind of brilliant. I downloaded it, played around with it. They're trying something different this time. Digital audio workstation. I have one. This window over here. This is a Harrison Mixbus 32C. That's powering all the live audio mixing that we're doing right now and audio processing. But this is along those lines. And this is a holistic audio production solution. I'm reading that off the copy. And yeah, but it can run a Raspberry Pi 4 or 15-year-old laptop. It's all the engine plugin, completely written in C. And I put it up on the DAW server because I'm always curious. We don't have a ton of options. We got Bitwig, we got Reaper, we got Adore, we got Mixbus, and Traction. So I loaded it up. Like, it did launch because I do kind of a weird thing. I use SSH with X11 forwarding in order to pull everything up. But yeah, everything ran, but there's not a lot to run. I didn't see an option to set up the control surfaces I have down here, which I have too. Kind of need those for the live. And didn't see a way to scan my VSTs, VST2, VST3, LV2 plugins. I had a couple of built-in plugins, some basic ones like compression, limiting, stuff like that. EQ, I believe, was in there, but it did do the one thing that, here's one thing that Adore has right. I'm going to say over something like Reaper is Reaper, Bitwig, stuff like that. They have a matrix grid for connecting, okay, I want this digital input to go to this digital output or this physical input to this. This is all well and fine when you're dealing with 2, 3 channels. Once you're up to 30 something, that becomes a nightmare to deal with. I know when I was playing around with Reaper in the studio, I had to go get a ruler because that grid was like this. I was putting a rule to line it up. I'm like, that one, okay, turn. There we go. Because we got a lot of stuff with an head check. But fun little project, completely free. It's open source. Go play around with it. There'll be a link in the show notes after the fact. And yeah, it's still the early days. But I mean, everybody's got to start somewhere. And Pedro, you thought it was a really slick website. You just couldn't.
The website, it gave me some KDE4 vibes. If you ever used that particular theme, if you were looking at the video version while Ven was showing it, I can't remember, was it called Sleek or something like that? Or
yeah.
If you've been using Garuda Linux recently, that looks very similar, doesn't it? Yeah.
Looks like their fire theme, yes.
Yeah.
Good observation, Pedro. But yeah, I think it is cool, Ven, that Stargate has a collaboration feature, so you can work on music projects, with other people virtually and not have to be in studio with them. So that's something else that we need more on Linux. It's awesome.
Good times. So that's the thing. Oh man, Tuxedo's got a new thing out?
Yeah, the Tuxedo Nano Pro Generation 11 mini PC measuring just 4.6 inches by 4.3 inches by 1.9 inches has been released. And yes, this little baby computer you can play games on. And with a starting price of 640 euros, you get an AMD Ryzen 3 4300U processor, 8 gigs of DDR4 3200 RAM, and 250 gigabyte M2 SATA 3 SSD. And what's awesome is that's the low end. And on the high end, you can get up to a Ryzen 7 4800U processor, 64 gigs of RAM, a 2 terabyte NVMe SSD, or 8 terabyte 2.5 SSD. Or even better, you can just buy the bare bones box with the APU and supply your own components, which is what I would do.
Yep.
And it ships with your choice of Ubuntu Linux or the Ubuntu-based Tuxedo OS. It's really cool.
And major kudos to Tuxedo because, okay, the whole shoving Horizon, especially the 4800U, into a 5x5x2 teeny tiny little box, like Nook sized effectively. That's impressive. That's a lot of cores and a lot of APU going on in there. But that accolade goes to, or accolade, I should say, goes to AS Rock because they're the ones who did this. And the
I was about
author
to say this might look a little familiar because it's
Similar.
this article comes from Lily Pudding and head writer Brad Leiter. It was like, yeah, that it is the same box. It just has the Tuxedo badge on it, and with Tuxedo Linux, which is at least at the time when they sent us the Infinity Book 13, it was effectively ex Ubuntu with some heavy customization and some heavy limitations on the power usage. That laptop, of all the ones that I was sent, was the only one that if you were working off of battery, it capped out exactly at 15 watts. And it was all done in software. They did it all themselves. So they get full credit for taming the 4800U and all the other Ryzen APUs that they're going to be offering in those teeny tiny little AMD Nooks style things.
They're all very interesting. Like
So cool.
even though I try to keep AMD where I can, I've always been interested by Nooks. It's a small form factor. Now, admittedly, I'm against the desktops because I don't understand why people are into hardware torture. You know, let's see how much hardware, see how small, let's see how hot we can make something so it'll die quicker. I've never understood that, but I don't know, Pedro,
you
sell
like
me
tablets. I don't get how you say that, but you like tablets.
Okay. Oh, I say
Yes,
that
you
because
do.
I'm not trying to run a desktop on a tablet, Pedro.
But if you could, wouldn't you?
No. I have a 43-inch monitor. No. How hard of a no can I get? So, what I would like is something Nook-powered small form factor to replace 3 boxes down here. Just because of the floor space and all that, I'd like to just, engineering duct tape them like under the desk or something and just have them hanging out like that. But these things are always wicked expensive. No matter who's doing it, what hardware is in them. I look at it, I go, oh, no. That's the same price as the new Mac Mini thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you are dealing with the Nook style situation. You're going to be paying a lot for the bare bones unit.
There's
and then
a
you're gonna
market,
have to
though.
supply-
I try to imagine like there's got to be a situation, right? Like if you're like super limited on space, or you're worried about noise or
and
something like that.
Absolutely.
These things have VESA mounts on the bottom so that you can mount them to the back of a monitor
Duct tape,
and you
Pedro.
effectively have the monitor.
I can mount anything.
Yes.
Velcro.
And so you have, like, effectively, you can build yourself all-in-ones, and if you're doing a mass deployment, it's company money anyway, so you don't care what it costs.
Yeah. Good job on that. Okay. So we've decided that, okay, we got to get into a slice pie. But there it is. There's everybody's favorite pie.
Pumpkin.
Was
but
that
it's-
made deliberately to
It
annoy
looks like it looks like a like
What
a
are you
almost
talking
like
about? This is how I cut
a
pizza.
starburst or yeah.
Cut pizza. the
Was
exact
someone
same-
going for the cracked glass look? It's like, oh, it looks exactly like
Yeah.
the crack that I have on my windshield.
Here's a pro tip, kids. This is how you get out of ever having to cut pizza. Just have to do it once.
Well, to their credit, pumpkin pie is hard to cut.
The only thing you cut pumpkin pie with is a fork.
A spatula.
Your fingers, you have fingers. Actually, y'all have more fingers than I do. Use them.
Nay.
Get dirty.
So we're going to get into a little bit of a slice of pie, but something we were talking about last week. I picked up the new Raspberry Pi 02W thing. Go back to the beginning of the show, some of the stuff I'm playing around with. But I think we were just talking in the after show. I'm like, I wonder if I could put Windows 10 on it because Windows 10 has an ARM build. While I would never do that for any personal reasons, I was like, man, that'd be fun to stream, wouldn't it? Right?
It would be fun to a point. There it would just be, oh, come on, I'm only watching now because I want to see you do it so I can leave.
Yeah.
Okay, but look at it like this. You would be watching that stream now, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yes. Like, I would be fascinated. Like, you know what, guys? We're going to take a break. We'll leave it up and we'll see what happens and we'll come back. And so in order to make that happen, I had to do a little bit of research. I'm like, okay, I have no idea. I know that even Microsoft says, hey, we got Windows 10 that'll run on a Pi. Allegedly. I don't know. Not really anymore. All the publicly facing links to that ARM image just kind of don't exist anymore. And if you want to like get Windows 10 or Windows 11 up and running on a Pi, it's not a simple task. I was thinking, what would you think, right? Like, you're going to give me an image that I'm just going to burn with an imager and pop it on the SD card and we're no, sir. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So there's
Not
this.
anymore.
There is this. I had to go to War Flasher, and this is a, get this, legal utility. This is not an illegal use.
They claim it's 100% legal. So.
100%. Utility that runs RPiOS to flash another SD card. This is some Rube Goldberg mechanism to get Windows 10 and 11 up and running on a Pi. And this is like, hey, this is the one you kind of want to use. And it's a piece of cake. Because, again, in all bold, 100%, none of that 96% legal Windows 10 flashing for Pis. No. 100%. And it uses words like, in theory.
We're dealing with Windows. In theory is probably a bold claim.
I don't know.
In the right context.
It's getting Windows on a Pi, anything apparently is like a super not straightforward task. I'm going to say that. But you kind of need a Pi 4 for this because you need the 4 gigajoules of RAM, which is another thing. Couple of things you got to keep in mind, like the Wi-Fi networking stuff's not going to work, but then again, it's Windows. Look at that as a security feature. And
yeah.
also, you won't be able to de-bloat the OS because is that something you do in Windows? I don't know. Like they say that in the on the GitHub page. It's like, oh, of course, yes, you do the de-bloating. Is that something people do in Windows?
Yeah.
Yeah, or install NT 4.0.
It's been a thing at least since I'm aware of people actively modding Windows installs to remove a bunch of like the stuff that no one uses and just make it like, oh, Windows, what was the one I downloaded? Windows XP Gamer Edition, which I'm pretty sure was loaded with malware. But yeah.
I remember the Windows XP VLC edition.
Yes.
There was that one that took out Windows Media Player.
But yeah, it is right at the top of the thing. They have a link to a complicated tutorial. Yeah. That's the URL. And I was reading through that.
Well,
and
I think what's going on right now, like further we get down here, this is you start reading down here if this kind of dies in a fire.
Yeah.
The idea is to flash the card, then the card's going to take care of that and get the image. But if there's a oopsie, but I wouldn't recommend doing it.
This is Windows. You have to account for the whoopsies because they will happen.
Here's a real one. Here's a real one, though.
Or the warsies. This is called.
Outside of entertainment purposes, for a live stream, why would you put Windows on a Pi, and for what reason? Like, what would even, you're going to build everything from, is there repos for like,
There's the Windows Store, yes, and some of the applications, if they were done properly with the Universal Windows app, like Microsoft was trying to push for a while there, if they are that, technically, they should run. And I have to put that technically there because this is Windows and nothing is guaranteed. But yeah, no, like reading the complicated tutorial, I'm looking at that and I'm going, when the Game Gear comes out and people start installing Windows on that thing, I am going to get myself such a big bag of popcorn. I don't even like popcorn, and I am going to eat them at that particular instance, which apparently now is going to be 2 months later because Valve pushed that back.
But Pedro,
Listen,
if I can get Windows 10 or Windows 11 installed on my Raspberry Pi 4, that means I can probably get WSL loaded. And now WSL has a GUI.
Yes.
So I can run my GUI
You
application.
can install it from the Windows Software Center.
okay, so at this point, we're running Windows on a Raspberry Pi. This is the fantasy land that we're currently in. Windows on a Raspberry Pi, which we then load WSL2.
Correct.
And we load a GUI on WSL2. So at that point, what's stopping us from...
I'm trying to make Leonardo DiCaprio
And we
blush.
can run an ARM emulator on top of that with QEMU.
Yeah, we can run any VM software at that point. Yep.
Pi Inception.
Piception, man. There be dragons.
The idea of that is tempting, but I don't hate myself that much. And the one Raspberry Pi 4 I have is a very good gaming machine. So I'm going to leave it at that. And here you go.
Why don't you use it to power your
Boy
Stream Deck
DMG.
like a normal person? Come on. Hey, if you want to tell
I
us
don't have
about
a Stream Deck.
if you want to tell us about your Pi Durkins, how can you do that?
You can do that very, very easily. You can shout at us on the interwebs. Many ways to do that, but the best way, guaranteed that we will see what you
We're
want to say.
hipsters,
is you
Pedro.
go to-
We're vintage. We have a web zone. Look at that.
We do. We have a website. You go to linuxgamecast.com and there's a contact button. And if you click the contact button, there's a form. There's also a CAPTCHA, but it happens in the background. Don't worry about it. All you got to worry about is the caveats at the top. Don't include links. If you have stuff, there's one of the warnings has an email address that you can send us stuff to. But if you just want to say hello, ask a question, shout in our general directions, provide some constructive feedback, you can do that. Just pick LWDW, fill out the form, and it'll show up right here on this very slot. No one took us up this week.
Bring it.
No.
No, bring it. I want to see if we can get something good, something worthwhile.
Yeah.
I probably said something incendiary during this particular episode.
Oh, we'll get it.
As I'm off to do.
We'll get it for this week. I guarantee. We were talking about that on Saturday. We do Linux Gamecast weekly. Yeah, like it's ebb and flow sometimes with the feedback. I'm like, oh boy, here it comes. So. That's going to do it. We got to get out of here. This has been a long show, but thanks for showing up. We're going to roll some credits and do that thing.
Oh, thank you all for joining us in chat. We had quite the motley crew today in chat. It's awesome. And I want to thank Frosty the Clawman.
thank you to
He
the Raiders.
increased his pledge. Yeah, thank you to the Raiders too. I'm glad you noticed that, Pedro. And so Frosty the Clawman increased his pledge on our Patreon. So thank you so much, Frosty. And thank you, Steve Husband.
Yeah, I know.
Linux
A rate of 300
Cheese
people,
bacon.
which was kind of crazy.
I didn't know you could count that high.
I know.
You've been lying to
But
me
yes.
this whole time, man.
PLNRND. We got Altamore, Artherin, Kotaku.
Hey, everyone. We'll see you next week. Thanks for showing up.
Kotaku's the website.
Yes. Yeah, sorry. Love Shock, I meant. Yeah, not the website. Love you all.
Hey, we made it in one piece. Let's put this Concorde back onto the tarmac. Bam.
Woohoo.
And now I'm warm. I need to remove.
Get warm.
Oh.
You have to stand up to take off a jacket. This is interesting.
Chair. Yes, I like to lean back on the chair.
Yeah, I don't like sitting down. I'm too OCD, so I have to stand up, take the jacket off so it doesn't rub anything on my chair.
These are people who use napkins too, so go figure.
Yeah.
I could tell you I hate the environment and I use paper napkins.
I don't know, man. I love it when somebody tries to like drop the environmental stuff. I'm like, tell me more about your book collection. You apparently like slaughtering trees.
So true, Sandman. But I'm happy they did stick around. I think they got some
like
good
30 of them
entertainment.
stuck around, so thank you.
Yeah.
We managed to retain a 10th of the original raid. Very much appreciated.
Come on,
you
let's
guys.
be
Awesome.
Crazy.
realistic.
Linux. They didn't want to listen to Linux
Here's
nerds.
exactly what goes on. You think about when you're listening and watching somebody in the background, because there's always background music with me on Twitch. I'm like, hey, this person's doing the thing. And you're like, what's going on? Oh, why? Oh, they must have raided somebody. All right. Who else is on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I absolutely get it. Still appreciate it. It's probably the 10% that was AFK. Still appreciate it.
Hey, man, it still counts.
No, there were a few that were actually talking. So, thank you, every single one of you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
That was cute watching you
was
walk
it
into
again?
bubblegum.
Who was it again that sent the raid?
It's in the
It was
Pedro?
the Prime Agent or Primogen.
I don't
Prime,
see it. It's
Yes.
just we've got new followers, so that's
Yes,
why it
we
went by
have
quick,
been-
so we didn't see it.
There's been a stream of new followers
Prime
following the
This
raid.
is what I was like a bit sideways on, because I know Pedro knows he can pull up the Twitch dashboard and just read it right there in the section that says, hey, this is all the activity.
Yes. The problem was
That's
we got
what
a lot of follows, so it's
Yeah.
like, oh crap, I gotta
Yeah,
scroll.
so he had to go back. Yeah,
That's not... Here, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Watch.
The Prime Agent raided you with a party of 298
98.
viewers. Y'all
very
crazy
nice.
like that.
Thank you, Prime Agent. Yeah, I wanted to give Pedro some time to go look, so that's why I just continued.
Okay.
That was
You're
important.
just being a simpleton then, Pedro. We had 9 new followers.
Yeah, but I didn't
That's
have the dashboard.
plenty.
open.
Oh, okay. That's all I was asking. I was like, why don't you just go to the dashboard and pull it up? That's what I just did right then.
I was.
Just
That's why I was talking and trying to fill time while it loaded, and it did things. It's just like, okay, let's thank you, PLNRDN.
See,
And
now
our-
I'm incorrect, Pedro. Now we've had 10.
Yeah, he's
Just to prove you're wrong.
so you're so true, Arthur. 298 on our 300th episode. Pretty good.
Yeah, we failed. That's what we did, Jill.
Yeah.
We came 2 people short of Sparta.
Did they make a sequel to 300? Please tell me they didn't.
They made a parody of 300.
I know that. I tried to watch
Yeah.
like 20 seconds into it. And it was that movie that told me that I no longer liked that genre of movies.
I was drunk, so it was funny.
Like, the fun thing was, I thought I was going to like it because he was battling a penguin, a giant penguin at the very beginning. Like, okay. But
MD084. So is Prime Agent? Is he a Linux gamer or has Linux content, or was just kind of
Aha, let's creep.
he saw us on? Yeah,
oh, now you know how to use Twitch. Okay.
yeah.
The
I'm gonna look him up,
Prime
too.
Agent- I'm not using Twitch, I'm using Google.
How dare you? That's
Oh, there's Twitter.
that is too similar to the command line, Pedro. You're clearly
I
not a
found
Windows
them.
average.
Vinstigator. Okay, I like the pun.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a YouTube channel as well. Right on.
Y'all some nosy people.
Okay, I'm looking at about.
Vim
Oh,
and
so
Weed
he has
Music.
Linode as a
It's the only
sponsor.
way to do it.
So he's got Linode as a sponsor.
Okay.
Oh, come on, everyone has Linode as a sponsor.
I know. Yeah.
Have you watched YouTube videos lately? Everyone has Linode as a sponsor.
Yeah, I'm on one that does too.
Yeah, no, the only sponsor Linux Gamecast will have is Microsoft. But since they haven't, approached us yet,
Some of the best
So
Vim
I just
content. All
followed
right.
him.
So some development
Okay.
stuff. All right.
Yeah, I see.
Good.
I'm looking right now. Awesome. Cool. Working at Netflix. Awesome.
I mean,
They do some really progressive stuff with Linux. Cool.
Emacs is better.
See, I was wondering whether or not to be mean and say that, 40,000 subs on YouTube out of a Vim channel.
Yeah. Educational.
But hey, you dropped the Emacs bomb, so go on.
They're both inferior to Nano.
Team Nano, woohoo!
Wasn't mad. If I gotta edit something, I'm going into Nano first.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, looking forward to watching some of his videos. Cool. Oh, he did a charity stream. Awesome. Cool. Yes, great content.
Very nice. I'm actually going to keep this particular YouTube tab open because I'm gonna creep. You're gonna rate us.
Yeah.
We're gonna creep back. Sorry.
Yeah. And thank you so much, the Prime again. Or Primeagen?
It's Prime again.
Oh, yeah. I know, wasn't it, Sandman? I was so happy to hear that. And it's the 1.0 release, too. And then all those little
I am
fixes
gonna try
I've
it.
been wanting in the file manager. It's really cool. Just all the changes. We've been waiting for the
Skillshare.
maturity
What are you
of that
talking about
desktop.
Skillshare for, man? This is brought to you by MeUndies.
What was the mattress company?
Oh, man. I always just say the mattress company when I'm doing that bit.
Yeah. I can't remember what they were called.
Oh, no cheating.
The memory foam
No
mattress.
cheating.
My hands are right here.
Okay. No, this is difficult because I can't look at the screen.
Right, don't look at Discord.
Yeah. The mattress, the internet, that was in all the... Jeez.
All the podcasts.
Yeah, right? It wasn't something mattress, was it?
Yes, Egmo, we certainly are. We've been this network has been using Linux for streaming for 10 years, and we're the very first to use it. Only Linux for streaming makes us special. We were the first.
I don't know if I was the first, but...
Close to it, or yeah.
We were doing a lot more advanced stuff. I was doing it 10 years ago than, like, predating OBS and all the other fun stuff. But this mattress thing, this is our top priority right now.
I don't remember what the mattress thing was called.
It was, I want to say, like, dial a mattress. No.
No, they had like, I remember like the spiel about the 100 nights that you get to sleep on it,
Right.
and if you don't like it, you can return it.
Right, and it came in a box. And it
Yeah,
rolled out.
and it was like packed, and when you pulled it out of the bag, it started to expand itself because it was memory foam,
Right.
and you could bounce on the bed without the other person even moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, Egmo, 10 years, before there was software really built for it. Vin had to cobble it together. No such thing as
It had
OBS.
A name. It
Yeah,
was
I
like
know, I know it had a name, Pedro. This is...
No. Like, I'm not sure if it was a person name or...
So I'm sorry, I'm paying attention to chat. So you guys were a mattress name?
the mattress
Purple?
company. Jill?
We're having a contest
Oh,
right now.
Boo, Steven, what mattress are
Without
you using?
cheating.
That one. He's using that one. I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting the name. I know there's...
Everyone's
there's the
forgetting the name.
famous
That's
one.
the thing.
Yeah. Casper. Thank you, Mir. Yeah, so Steve Husband has been... Yeah, we have Caspers.
Yeah,
In fact, I'm
Casper
using
mattresses.
I'm using
Yes.
a Casper right now. We had the first one, and it was a little too hard for me, so we got a new one. And then the Purple company came out, and a bunch of other competitors. So
Thank you all who suggested we were deliberately not looking at Discord. Let's see. Jessica Hawk. My Steam Deck is apparently coming in February.
Yeah.
A little sad.
Oh, that was a thing.
Do, 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 do.
The mattress company. Well, you gotta look at it like this, okay? As I was saying back at the beginning of the stream, Valve's doing it good. You know, Valve's not pulling an NVIDIA. Valve's not.
Yes.
Hey, look, this is a new product that we launched. Can you buy it? Haha, no. And then have the audacity. Oh, no. If they wanted to do a full NVIDIA, they would release the Steam Deck and you couldn't buy it. Then 4 months later, they'd release Steam Deck 2.
Mm-hmm. And you still couldn't buy it.
I mean, you can't buy 20 series cards. They just...
Arthur and the Serial one, I don't mind so much, probably because I don't follow a lot of YouTubers that did the Serial advertising. There's like one or two. But the cereal actually looks good. And if they made the like marshmallowy, sugary cereal, and that was available for the UK market, I'd be all over that.
Can I interest anybody in purchasing? Okay, hang on. That's just an option to purchase. We have the option to rent. linuxgames.co.uk. We've been propositioned.
Rent?
Rent. I just came across this website and I was wondering if you would like to rent or purchase this domain. linuxgames.co.uk. I am the owner of this domain name. Please don't hesitate to contact me. Contact this email if you have any questions. Thank you. Have a great day.
I mean, that's the usual spam spiel. It's very well targeted if it is spam, so good on
no.
them.
This came in through our email system, so somebody typed this out. Yeah.
All right. So does anyone want it?
Yeah, this. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. Jeremy Solar has a big block list, I'm sure, over the past 3 weeks.
I went through his tweet this morning. Yeah, JS card.
I don't know. I mean, if you want to be online, but you want to live in an echo chamber, that question, why are you online? Like, and more to the point, like, if you're going to block somebody, don't. You mute them. That way they don't know.
Yeah. Because block, they can immediately tell because, oh, that tweet I was replying to, it's gone.
Right. And more importantly, this goes to the same people like, I'm leaving. I'm like, it's not an airport. You don't need to announce your arrivals and departures. Just go. Also, I don't feel the need to tell anyone that I'm blocking them or muting them. I muted somebody this week on Twitter. I'm like, no, I can deal with that. But
okay, not this week. It's actually been a while since I last muted someone, but
I'm just saying. I'm sure everyone, what I'm playing with is, this is when I had the Raspberry Pi out because I wanted to feed it a ludicrous amount of power. The best thing I have from that Windows 10 tablet I bought was this gargantuan, because it's an x86 tablet, quad-core, USB power block that I used. I just break it out in case of emergencies, and it came with the chonkiest 4-pin USB too, not just power. Like, this thing, I would hang off this, no problem. Like, just, and that's what I've been playing with because I realized I left it in here.
everyone has that one really good cable that you never lose sight of it. This one happens to be orange, but it's also very, very thick.
It looks like it's flat.
Yeah.
Is that
Yes.
flat? That's the opposite of thick. It's thin.
No, there's a lot of thickness, even like the flat side.
The word he's looking for is well insulated.
Yeah. But it's a flat one.
Yeah, it's like Type-C cable. No, this one.
Jill,
is,
you don't understand, Jill.
Micro USB.
Thin is the new thick.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
I
a
have
thick
thin,
boy.
I have flat Ethernet cables. In fact,
do
I have
too.
a 50-foot one that goes into the hallway for my workbench.
I got a couple of flat ones for short runs. It's like on long runs, they're just not very good for shielding.
Yeah.
Because you're basically
that
just
is an
laying all
issue.
of them like flat. You're like, here we go. But
Yeah. I noticed,
the
I do
second
notice
best-
a little delay.
The second best micro USB cable I have is the one from the Steam controller.
that's got to be in the
Oh,
box.
yeah, that is a good one.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah,
Now,
it's nice and thick,
The
too.
rarest one that you're going to have is your Type A to Type A.
I have one of
Yeah,
them too.
extensions.
It's in
Lots
the
of
other
them. I
drawer
have
over there
lots
because I
of
don't
them.
use it for anything.
No, kids. Not extensions.
Oh.
No, it's not male to female. Can't use those words anymore
Oh,
to
it's
describe
male
it.
to male?
But yeah, Type A to Type A.
Okay.
I
I have
have
that. I have those, yeah.
One of those. And every time it is put in a new special, I won't forget where you're at this time cable place that requires me to disassemble a non-insignificant portion of my house to find it every time I need it.
Yeah, it was all of the Steam Decks because I'll read out the email, at least the first bit. The launch of the Steam Deck will be delayed by 2 months. We're sorry about this. We did our best to work around the global supply chain issues, but due to material shortages, components aren't reaching our manufacturing facilities in time for us to meet our initial dates. Based on our updated build estimates, Steam Deck will start shipping February 2022. There's more, but yeah.
How much is the base Steam Deck?
$399 or 349 pounds.
All right, hear me out. Valve, you got the hardware. Release the Steam Brick. Give me a Steam Deck without the controllers and the screen for $300.
Oh, the tablet.
There we go.
No, not a tablet. I don't want anything. I want a cube.
You want a cube,
the
like
Steam
the
Mini.
Nano,
Okay.
but a
Yeah.
cheap version. Yeah.
With that same GPU, CPU, APU, as the kids say these days. Same amount of memory RAM, upgradable NVMe drive, possibly optional. I can take or leave that for $300.
That would sell. That would sell a lot.
Yeah. Problem is, it wouldn't sell to gamers.
Yeah. No, you gotta have the handheld INEO switchy type of situation.
Had
going.
on him.
GPD
Ouya
Win
form
3.
factor. I love my Ouya.
Gabe Geert, no, I just
The
want,
Gaber Genesis.
if we can get all of the Steam Deck
Yeah.
hardware in a cube, no controllers, just HDMI out,
That's our-
HDMI 2 point whatnot for like
Our
$300
cheap mini
bucks.
PC.
Like, that's a usable piece of kit.
Yeah. Absolutely, Ben. Good idea.
The GameCube. Yeah. The GameCube.
The Gabe Cube. Yeah.
Gabe and Cube.
I mean, let's be honest.
I mean-
we're just going to get the Gabe Gears so we can have like because Nintendo didn't release an updated Switch. I'm like, okay, I'll get one way or the other.
I saw an article. It showed up on my
Yuzu
Google News feed as to the real reason that we got the OLED version of the Switch instead of the Switch Pro. It's like, don't care. Next.
Don, I will say this. There have been two things that I've been at a consignment shop or a thrift store, depending where you're at. You know what I'm talking about. That I've looked at and went, nah. One was the Steam streaming thing. What was it called?
The Shield?
What the Steam sheet was? No.
Oh, this Steam. I thought you said NVIDIA.
It was named after a mattress.
Yes.
Yeah, Don M. I did put Debian on mine, and yeah, I put Lutris on it.
Steam Link.
I saw a Steam Link it was like 99 cents, and I looked at it. It was in the box. Like, nah. The other one was Ouya. 99 cents, and it's like, nah.
I wonder if they're still stupidly priced on eBay, because
people are trying to collect
if I'd
them now.
gotten one for 99 cents, I'd be very happy right now. See, Ouya. 70 pounds. Starting bids. Oh, wait, no, you can buy parts only. It's not working. Damn it. I found one for 50. It's like, okay, maybe, no.
Pretend it's a laptop. I said, pretend it's a laptop. Just go ahead and order it.
Yeah, no, most of the laptops I buy are like 30 pounds.
Come on.
It's usually 50 as my cutoff point for buying old laptops because they're not worth that much.
But you could have a vintage Ouya.
I
No,
should
there's
send,
one working
Pedro
that
one of
was
mine.
open,
I've got a
never
couple of them.
used, for 65 pounds. No, that's no.
Remember, kids, if something
Yeah.
is rare, it means it was unsuccessful for a reason. It's
Yes.
probably not fun to play with.
There's a reason they didn't make many of them.
Don M, that's so true right now. The prices are way jacked up on eBay for vintage computing hunting, because they know people are home looking, so the prices are way up. So, but I've been having good luck on Mukari. It's kind of very eBay-like, but it also deals with local finds as well from your neighbors. But I've gotten
Yeah,
some
every now
really
and then
good
I
deals.
go on Gumtree, but I
Yeah.
go on Gumtree here and I'm immediately disappointed because all the good
yeah.
stuff is in London and it's massively overpriced. And it's like, how about Cambridge? Oh, we have some deck chairs and some.
All lame stuff.
It's like, okay, how about tech stuff? Oh, there's this old desktop PC that is massive, and someone put LEDs on it and called it a gaming
Gaming rig,
desktop,
yeah.
and they're selling it for £300.
Listen, man, I'm tired of you saying disparaging words about Alienware.
They just took a Dell Optiplex, put LEDs on it, and called
Dell.
it a gaming PC. Okay,
Dell, you want to talk about, yeah, okay, I joke about putting body kits on things.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So this
Thank
is
you,
what I'm
Icy
thinking
Yogi,
about
for the follow.
picking up. 220 by 220 by 250. $230. It's not bad.
That's not a bad price.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be heartbroken when and if I break it.
Yeah, no, it's an Ender. That's like the brand is like, oh, there's one of the very few 3D printer brands that I immediately recognize. Like, oh, it's an Ender. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's an Ender 3 Pro.
Yeah.
I mean, 220 by 250. That's big enough, like surface, bigger than I need.
Yeah, to print out bigger objects.
22 centimeters
We
by
have,
22 centimeters.
Millimeters, baby.
I'm forgetting.
220 millimeters.
220, yes.
Forgetting the one my husband has, but he has the one meant for little miniature parts.
By an auto leveler.
Oh, does the table not auto level? That can lead to some truly horrifying nightmare fuel print.
I don't know. I mean, I just need something to do a little bit of rapid prototyping on. This is probably even overkill for my needs. Because once I get something worked out and I like the dimensions of it, I'm going to go CNC it. We're going to do subtractive printing. Either that or I can just make a sand mold and smelt it. I mean,
Okay. Oh, this one has a best offer. Hold on, I'm about to make an offer for Ouya.
Does that even have HDMI?
Let's see, how much
out?
do you... yes, I do believe so.
Okay.
I was looking for pictures of the back, but no, they don't have any. But yes, it does have, I think it's 2 HDMIs out, if I remember correctly. Ouya HDMI.
I just remember when the hype thing was around the Ouyas. I'm like, what is it? And they're like, oh, it's Android. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
that's a dumb idea. I didn't even do my victory lap on anyone. I never went back and like told you that was a dumb idea. I just did, man. Sand molds,
Even
man.
the old Amazon listing doesn't have how many HDMI ports?
That's why you go to Google Images. Ouya, rear.
Okay, 1 HDMI, 1 micro USB, 1 Type A, 1 Ethernet, and a power barrel jack. From Engadget.
Auto leveler's not that expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, I did play around with putting Steam on it with QEMU because it's ARM based. So I did get Lutris working
Box
on it.
86?
Yeah, Box 86 is great. Yeah, but QEMU, there was a lot of people in the community that hacked it with Steam with QEMU for the Ouya, but I haven't checked back in a while. So
My offer was not
Box
accepted.
86.
How much? How all right, hang on.
It was
Yep.
auto-denied.
All right. This is what we're getting to. What's the buy it now option right now?
65.
What did you offer? 40?
44. Because they want £6 for the delivery. Which is BS. I send out a lot of stuff. I know how much that stuff costs. That's BS pricing right there.
Somebody get me hung up. Because I was, TAC hit me up late last week. And he's like, yo, that like squirrely device, I got it working. This is a very oddball piece of equipment that even with the FireWire devices, I found this thing maybe 2 years ago, and I posted the FATO list to Jonathan, the guy who did a lot of the initial FireWire reverse engineering for the audio interfaces. I'm like, yo, you got these, and he's in Australia. He's like, I hadn't even heard of that. When did that come out? What? Here's the manual. Tack it.
Yeah, TechLink, actually, that works fairly well, too. I've loaded a lot of games from it. Because someone has created a server with all the games, so you can still play them. It's really awesome.
Come on, Pedro, get it Ouya so you can experience what mobile gaming was like a decade ago.
Okay, this game's console came to us in a large job lot of other items and is being sold as untested as we have not tested it, hence we are selling it for parts that are not working. Please bear this in mind.
Maybe
before
not,
pressing the buy
Pedro.
button.
That's why the shipping.
No, this is a different listing.
Boo.
That one I gave up.
Maybe this one comes with bear.
No, this one is £50 and
Alright.
the shipping is £3.79, which is correct. That is the correct price
Okay.
that Royal Mail would charge you.
That's what I was going to ask you. Were we just talking Royal Mail or Royal Post or whatever? I don't know.
See, that one's better priced.
I found what I was
But it's
looking for
untested.
is you got to pay attention to shipping, man, because shipping's rarely calculated, especially in like on Reverb.com. And the price, and I'm like, oh, $100 for the thing I was looking for, and I was like, that's great. And dude wanted like $45 to ship it. It's like, no.
No. No.
Right. So it's 5 o'clock. We gotta wind this down so I can get to work. This
I
is
need to go eat dinner. I have
beginning.
leftovers.
I'm hungry. I need to eat lunch.
I have leftovers and I
Pedro,
have
8
wraps.
hours
I
away
think I'm
from
gonna
each
make
other.
a taco.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Well, enjoy yourselves. I don't know what
Night,
Jordan's
Arthur.
going to be up to tomorrow, but we have a schedule and it says he will be up to something. So tune in for that. Friday. I don't know what I got going on Friday, to be honest with you. Let's see. What? You know what?
Yeah,
Friday.
you had that pop-up hentai stream on Monday.
I think Friday is going to be the Steam stream. So we're just going to kind of play that by ear.
Oh.
If the stream deck, I'm going to look over it. If it looks decent, and as long as Valve's not like, no, you can't but it's Valve. They would never do anything like that. I might be back here on Twitch, talking over all the important bits. So, yeah, get a notification for all that fun stuff. Till then.
Bye, everyone.
It is going to be a big taco.